Hey,
Hey,
hey.
we're live. We are live everywhere this week. Usually,
Trying,
as you
trying to be
see,
live everywhere. Hang on.
all right, you have a look, but we're on X and YouTube, and of course, getting started in crypto. Big hello to everyone tuning in from there. We're also trying for the first time to go live on Instagram and LinkedIn. So if you are watching in from those platforms, big hello to you and thank you for joining. Welcome to the weekly wrap up. So we do this every week and we look at the market, we look at what's going on, and Lisa gives us her thoughts on what's going on. And I think this week we've got a bit of a meme coin special coming up, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We do. I cannot
Okay.
see how to go live on Instagram.
Don't you worry about that. I think you might have gone live already. I saw you click it as we were jumping in. So
I don't know. I can't see it. So it's not coming up if I'm live. Hello. If I'm not, I don't know. Like,
no
how
problem. Well,
weird.
I'll have a look at that as well. You do your thing. Any before we jump into um, the meme coins and anything else? Was there any notes you had on the week we've had?
Well, we've had a very bearish week, so and that's kind of what we were thinking. A lot. We did have one listener last week that was, very bullish because there was money coming in with China and they had their rates cut. But it just seems that we had a very bearish week, which is kind of what we're seeing at the start of every month. Essentially, patterns sort of rise towards the end of the month, and they've been pulling back at the start. So that hasn't changed for October. I still think we're getting October, and we've had some good sort of green moments happening in coins, especially in those meme coins, and that's why we're going to have a look at a lot of those today. So to kick this off, let's jump into Bitcoin. That's the one that we always see first. It kind of rules the market. It kind of, when we're looking at this, it's what everyone sort of looks to. It's what drives the media, and essentially that's what is going to drive retail to crypto when we start getting some big figures and break that all-time high for Bitcoin. So let's jump into that.
Let's do it.
So this is a chart. So if you're on TradingView, make sure you head to TradingView and give me a follow. Lisa Ann Edwards. I'm Lisa Ann Edwards everywhere. So that is me. So make sure you head over here and give me a follow. I've got some charts going up. I'm going to try and get some stuff up here weekly, education and just ideas on Bitcoin. Because I do see alternate patterns that people don't see. And because I have been doing this a very, 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 very long time. So I like to think that, those skills go into what this is. So this is our 2020 Bitcoin chart. So this is obviously a COVID crash. We didn't get this happening. We didn't get that big sort of crash in this region this year. But we did get the FTX crash, which we saw, sort of going into 2019. So FTX was that crash that we saw at the end of this, which drove up this wave one, which is essentially here. If this was a fourth wave, we've still got one wave to go. But we're essentially in this pattern here. So you are here, basically. And that is just before we take off on the bull run. So a little bit more pain, probably another week or so, maybe a couple of weeks before we break out. I really do think this pattern is playing out. And, if we're looking at super cycle, we're looking at this being our bottom. Let me just remove some of this stuff. This being our bottom and our wave one heading up. So this being our wave one, wave two, and we're coming up for a super cycle wave three. So whether this is a wave four and we've got one wave to go before coming back for a quick second and then heading back up for that wave three. So Elliott Wave says wave 3 is always usually the longest and the fastest or the swiftest. So essentially, once this starts running, you're going to have to catch it. So you want to be DCAing in. If this is going in, if this is the third wave and we've finished this correction and we're going into that third wave, this is going to be massive. So yeah, hold on to your hats because you're about to make some money. Otherwise, have a stop loss. If you're, in margin trades, always have a stop loss. But it's looking really good. We have got that increase in the ETFs happening at the moment. So lots of money coming in. And I think that's the way that retail is going to get into the market this time. It's a little bit easier to buy through the ETFs than it is to get on onboarding onto exchanges. So depending on where you live, it's, exchanges are a predominantly hard thing at this point of time and getting money onto them. So make sure you do that research. We do have that in at Getting Started in Crypto. We've had a look at what exchanges for USA, what exchanges for UK, and exchanges for Australia, and they're all in our education section. But if you're in a different area, head to CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, and they have a lot of exchange information, so you'll be able to do that sort of stuff. If you need to know sort of the fundamentals of what to look for on an exchange for safety reasons and protection of your money, Merkle Tree, or whether they've got, FCA, FDA, those sort of, permits and licenses, so that your money is safe. They should be listed on the exchange and also on those sites. So make sure you do some research. But what to look for, head to the Moon Mag. We've done a whole heap of information on exchanges in the moonmag.com. So that comes out on the 8th of every month. So make sure you're reading that as well. So that's enough of, all the plugs. But at the moment, we are looking really, really good for this pattern. So I'm just going to zoom in. We've got a couple of areas that we're watching. And we've just broken through our first pivot. Our next pivot is heading up to, I'm going to get glasses on so I can see my numbers, 65,344. So that's going to be slightly different on, every exchange. So they're not going to be exactly the same. So make sure you're looking for where that wave 1 and 2 comes down, and that's going to be an Elliott wave pivot. So you want to keep an eye on that. And then obviously we've got some resistance regions that we are watching quite carefully. So that pivot is around that resistance region once we get there. So breaking through there, hopefully, potentially we can get above that. And we're looking for that magic sort of, 69, 72, and then 78. So 75 is a key sort of region when we're looking at resistance levels. So if we, go across and we draw sort of these levels here coming up, we're going to see where our resistance regions are. So up at this point, we're up at 91. So if we go across, immediate resistance is at that 75 level. So that's going to be a resistance region. So while these might just look like lines on charts, this is what support and resistance looks like. So support is always under where the lines all meet, all the waves meet. So, and then resistance is where they all reject. So for anyone that's new out there, really simple way to trade. And, often it will pull back at those regions, or it will find support at those regions. So, yeah.
Sure.
Bitcoin looking good.
Bitcoin looking good. That's what we like. Now, I know you're super keen to get into the memes and alts. Was there anything else you wanted to look at before we do that?
Yeah, so I've got a question there. How's the movie going? So we have a producer that has been employed, and he is actively in talks with directors. So this is Coin Runners NFT project that I've had for a long time, and you know, it is not the easiest project that I've ever worked with, but we're getting there because I have got big goals. I just don't want it to be any movie. I want it to be something that, you know, drives people to crypto. And that was the whole aim of, you know, writing this movie, getting people excited about crypto. It looks at some of the negatives, it looks at some of the positives, and essentially it makes crypto fun. So, and that's what I always try to do when I'm trading, I'm, you know, doing all of that stuff. So we want to be excited about this. So Coin Runners is, so we have a producer, his name's Kelly, and, you know, he's talked to some really amazing directors, and we've got 2 at the moment that are reading it, and we're in negotiations. So with those, it's a long process. I'm not going to lie. It's, you know, a long process. There's a lot of cogs and gears that need to sort of fit in, and yeah, but we're getting there, and I do think we're going to get some big news on that soon. And yeah, I'm super excited, and it's still happening.
Cool. So, another question is here, just before we do go into the alts and the memes, has anyone become a millionaire in just 1 year following the advice from your book or similar resources?
Yes. Obviously, we do need a more profitable market when that's happening. So we've had several people throughout, probably from Coin Runners, and I had one while I was at Satoshi Sisters. So yeah, we have had people do that. We've had people like buy kitchens. We've had people buy like really lovely cars. Like, not everyone wants to become a millionaire. Some people just trade to get stuff that they want: holidays, cars,
I was going to say, from my experience in GSIC, we have seen more people just trading from a small amount to enough to get them that kitchen or that new car, or pay off their mortgage. And
yeah, we had Carla pay off her mortgage.
Yeah, so it's so many people seem to have that psychological goal of just seeing 7 figures, whereas I think it's probably, you know, in a way it could be much better to split that up into, you know, things that you want and need in life that isn't just a figure, and that will actually contribute to your life in some way. So we always get people to think about that, don't we?
We do. So, you know, I think once you've started sort of seeing that, okay, I've got a brand new kitchen here, I've got a brand new car, and crypto's paid for that, and my trading's paid for that, it becomes this mindset that anything's possible. And this is my book. So let's push that up again. So essentially that the start of this book is all mindset. So it's literally all mindset. First, it's broken up into 3 sections. And yeah, first, getting into the mindset of crypto, getting into the mindset of trading, of, you know, taking away the I must, you know, win. And if you do have a loss, a lot of people, because it is your own money, it's like it's the end of the world. So it's about detaching from that, you know, and working out the best strategy that works for you. I talk about sort of when I'm looking at strategies, like the best strategies that have worked for me over the years would be OCO orders, you know, going and living your life and having the trades well set up, and knowing that, okay, if it doesn't hit my target, it's protected, and I'm protecting my capital. And that way you can just live life, go and do your normal day-to-day stuff, your job, looking after your kids, that sort of stuff. And, you know, so I do a lot more swing trading, because I don't want to be sitting there constantly having to look at a trade. If you are a scalper, there's a video that I've got on YouTube, how I set up my indicators so that it's easy for scalping. I'll do that when I'm bored. And there's all different ways to trade, but finding out the best way for you is often, going to make you the most money. And I often find that living your life and being able to trade and supplement an income is the best way to do that. So
absolutely. And just a follow-up comment here. It'd be wonderful if you could interview one of these millionaires. Well, the issue is that so many people want to be anonymous, being crypto and stuff, which is completely understandable. But then I notice as well, I may not have hit millionaire status, but at least I've upgraded my bathroom to a 5-star spa. That's what we're talking about. Just so. Yeah.
So, I think if you're on Twitter, Hudsonite, he bought his wife a brand new kitchen. So, and he traded up and he bought his wife a brand new kitchen. So, and I think he's bought cars and that sort of stuff as well. But, there's been lots and lots of people that I can sort of, go through. I don't know if they all want to be mentioned though, but he is one that has mentioned it in our group.
Yeah, and many, many more, I'm sure, to come. Fantastic. Okay. Are you ready to get into these memes? Should we take a little break and then
let's take a break and then I'll get into, I've got a couple of alt requests and then I'll get into the memes.
All righty. See you in 30 seconds.
And we are back. Okay. Now, Super Nerd Lisa is back as well. So let's jump in. So this is TAO. So this is one that we looked at last week, and it's essentially just hit the target we're looking at. Now, it still looks super bullish. It does have a bit of bearish divergence, but it's had that for quite a long while. The MACD is still flared out, so I think we're going up to this next level, which is quite possible, up around the 800 mark for unless we get a sharp pullback, but it does look like we're heading a little bit higher on that one. Another couple that we looked at last week that I've put on Twitter or X was Popcat. Popcat is one of my favorites. We're going to show you how to find these later on in the show. So this is one that I found on Birdseye a long time ago on Jupiter. And so I've been trading this on and off, and I've made a lot of money of it. I could have made more if I wasn't trading and just held. But with these, I'm a little bit more cautious because, when they're new, they often rug. So we'll talk about that as well. So Popcat has gone 63% this week, and Giga was the other one, and it's gone 105. So they were two that we looked at, and I hope you bought them. But anyway, let's jump into and take some profits. If you did, take some profits, take out your initial, take out, some of that money so that it's not all stuck in this if it does go the other way, because a lot of these coins and tokens do like to go down just as fast as they go up. So OM was requested from our group, getting started in crypto.com, and if you're not in there, you need to be. So we are in our next impulse. So coming up, we're gonna have a look at that. So how I do my fib projections is what I like to call Lisa Narchi, and you can learn that in Become a Millionaire in a Year. There's a whole section at the back of the book. Let me find that. I should have this page bookmarked, literally, because there we go. all the examples on how the fibs are achieved on projection and basically getting levels, because these are all based on algorithms, and a lot of bots on exchanges trade on those. So that's why, I've worked out a formula that is pretty accurate. So we can see that we're at, basically we're in the golden zone. That could be the finish of this wave, although when we look down to the MACD, we can see we're still flat out. We haven't turned down yet. So when we turn down on that, then that's when you kind of want to be going, okay, I'm going to exit this trade, depending on what you're trading. So this is a 4 hour. So this is probably, days to weeks that we're trading this. If you go down to the lower time zones, you're going to get, sort of those quicker trades. You're going to see sort of whether we're bullish, bearish. We've crossed down, which means we're going to get a pullback. This is a 15-minute chart. So it means that's a minor pullback. It doesn't mean it's a major pullback. When we're looking at the 4 hour, we're still flared out. So for me, that's still a bullish chart. It's still going up, even though there's a minor pullback in this region. So potentially this would go to the 786, which is 162. Pulling back for a wave 4 and then a continuation up. So what that would look like with Elliott waves is a 1, a 2 coming up for that 4, coming down for that 4, sorry, and then up to the 236, which is about $2. Now, these are psychological levels, so you need to sort of think, okay, when we get to $2, is everyone going to have orders at, $1.99? $1.98, and normally at those regions there's going to be quite a lot of sell orders, because psychologically people like round numbers. So that's kind of how that works. But looking quite bullish, still got a little bit in this. I'd say we're going up to complete that 3rd wave, then come back for that 4th, and then we're going to get a larger correction after that 5th. But we've still got a little bit more to go in this upward momentum that we're seeing at the moment. Another one was IO. Now, these really, really new charts, this is June, so we need to go down to the lower levels just to see where we are, because they don't have confirmed patterns as yet. So what we need to look for is, sort of lower time frame patterns, see where we are in those patterns, and see if we're breaking above pivots, breaking below pivots, that sort of stuff, and then we can sort of get a gauge as to direction. They are ones that you do need to have stop losses for. We can see that we've got a similar pattern to what we're seeing at the moment in a lot of charts. But we've got a pivot, a bullish pivot coming up, which is an Elliott wave thing. It's coming up at the 2.041 mark for this one, so a little bit below. Breaking that region does make this chart more bullish. Overall, it could be potentially still bearish, just looking at what we've got happening in this region. So this could be essentially a bear flag forming. It's just looking quite sort of sideways. We've got bearish divergence coming on these lower time frames. If we sort of zoom out and we count some waves going down just to see where we are. So we've got 1, 2, that's probably the end of our 3. This is potentially a 4. So if this is not a completed, so if that's not our 3rd wave and we've got a little truncated wave in there, and then that's our 4th coming down for our 5th, then we're in an uptrend with this wave. So, but this section here is a little bit sort of like all jumbled up and a bit messy. So it's hard to know if that is the start of the next wave, and it's a truncated wave, which can happen with, people get excited about these coins. Oh my God, it's going up, I need to jump in. So we can see that when we get to this point here at 2.04, that's when we know whether this is a wave 4 or it's going back further down. So if we get a strong rejection here, likely we're continuing to go lower, or we're going to retest this support area at about 1.5. So we're not quite there on that. I wouldn't be entering that. It's too risky for me because we don't have a confirmed pattern as yet, especially for a very, very new coin. KSM. So the DOT ecosystem at the moment has just been lacking. It's just really slow. They had a little bit of drama that they were paying their influencers way too much. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of those influencers they were paying. So I would have put my hand up for the amount of money that was getting paid out there. But yeah, similar pattern to what we're seeing in that previous chart. So for, I'm just going to remove some of this stuff. For KSM, we are looking at a pivot coming up of 21. So that's going to be our bullish pivot on this chart. So my bullish pivots are always a blue dash line. Bullish or bearish pivots are always a dash line. It is showing a little bit of strength in this pattern. Now, our pullback here, if we get a pullback only as low as 18.6, if it holds this region, that is really, really bullish for KSM. So that would mean we're getting 5 waves here. And at the moment, we only have 3. So this could be an ABC complete. And basically, that would continue down. So if this is an ABC up, it's going 1, 2, 3, and then a 4. And I'll show you the fibs on that. So which would likely go above, yeah, so we'd be going to the 786, which would then break that pivot. So this third wave may continue up, and then this wave here, and then this 5th wave. So potentially that's what that could look like. Now, if this is an ABC and this is still bearish, this will look something like this. So we've got, oops, hang on. We have got our A wave not quite formed yet, coming up for a B, won't break that pivot, and then we'll continue down. So the A wave will have 5 waves. So potentially we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, in this region here, we have got a truncated wave, potential truncated wave. So if we zoom in on this chart, we can see that we've got, you know, potentially this last wave could be here or it could be here because we have got an ending diagonal. So if we go back here and we count our waves, I still do think that is 3 waves, and then we've got 1 more down. Now, if this is a deep ABC complete, and then we're going up already, I don't think that's the case for this coin though. So we've got a shallow A, a shallow B, and then an extended C. So if we were to measure that just to see, so often if I'm sort of confused about a pattern, I'll then go to fibs and I'll pull some measurements. I'll get the trend-based fib, I'll pull that down and then see if we've got an extension. So this is when we're looking at wave sort of lengths and stuff like that. In Elliott Wave, they have certain measurements. So this is too large to be an ABC. So that tells me that this is not complete. So likely this will reject around the 21 mark and then continue down.
Okay, just before we
wave down.
No problem. Just before we go on to meme coins, there's one more just to squeeze in TRX. If we could just squeeze it in, and then you can meme away to your heart's content.
Is that right? Okay. So TRX sideways forever, holding above this wave one. It still is in a three-wave pattern. And yeah, we're basically waiting for this fourth wave. It's an internal subwave of this wave three. Come up, complete, should get to about 195, and then pull back for the fourth. I would think the fourth, because this is such an extended region of, you know, support building, would hold around there, making that a more bullish pullback, and then we might get an extended 5 that would potentially go up to about 27 or beyond. So yeah, that's kind of what's happening for TRX. Very slow at the moment. Yeah, not lots happening.
Okay, so I notice you've got a lot of tabs open for your memes. How are we going to do this?
I do. So let's have a look at ones that I like. And I'm just going to quickly run through them. So Floki, again, we've got a bullish pivot sitting at 0001521. If it hits there and it has a strong rejection and rejects below 1394, then it's probably going down and retesting this region or going a little bit deeper. So just keep those areas in mind. 1394 and 1521 are the key regions on Floki, either bullish or bearish. And yeah, it's a good mover when it does move. Doge, again, this could be our wave for this region here that we've got, which is a channel. Could actually be a leading diagonal, has the right count for that, has the right measurements. So I would say Doge is finished at that fifth and we're going up. So this area just needs to consolidate. We're almost there. We're holding. We look like we're going to get across on the 100 and 200, and then Doge should take off. So that's looking good. It's a good time to be DCAing into that one. Nero, which is one that we've seen move today. So if you were in getting started in crypto, this is one that I have been putting in. It's not been a signal, but it has been a chart that has been requested by a few of our members. So we can see that when we put the fibs onto this, we've got 5 waves. So that means we're getting a full correction. So being as this is a wave 1, so once we've got 5 waves, that then becomes a primary wave 1. Then we come down, we've got our correction, which has happened down to the 382. So when we get a break of, you know, a definite break of a fib level, it usually means we're going down to the next one. Even though this went up first, it still came down. So we've got a definite ABC there, and then we've come up. So we've only got 3 waves. Looks like we've still got a little bit more of consolidation in this region before we do head up. So I've got a target, large target for the bull run on this one of 007. So from, even if you're DCAing from this region and it's one that you're holding, and obviously with a stop loss, we are looking at about 400% on that. So coming up. Next one, we've got Wojak, which, you know, has moved quite nicely, is in a correction. A, B, C looks to be complete. Looks like we had an ending diagonal. We're coming up. This is our wave 1. We're still in the second wave at the moment. So potentially we've got one more wave lower to go. Unless we break above. It's rejected at the pivot at the moment. So pivot here is 000766. So breaking that is bullish for me. Not breaking that, it's got one more wave down. So a good time to accumulate, because that will take off after that. WAGMI, we are going to make it game. Has literally in the 4th wave at the moment. So once that 4th wave completes, it's probably got one more wave again. A lot of these coins and tokens are sort of mid correction at the moment. So, and it is the best time to be dollar cost averaging back into them. This is Cock Inu, which is one of the funny names, but it's a rooster, so you can get some cock in you, and potentially it's got a 85 to 90% move coming. This is the hourly. Looks like we're going to get across on the 100 and the 200 MA. If we drop that back to the 45, we should be nearly crossed. We have just crossed. So that's a really strong bullish signal. Might get a slight pullback before we continue up, but it's looking good. Moo. So lovely correction for this A, and then we've got the B, and then a very extended C. This is potentially our wave 1, and that should break out very soon. So it's probably just going to see a little bit of consolidation in this region, break out, and then take off. That's what we want to see for Moo. So a little bit more to go on that one. Turbo had a nice move today. Now the pivot on this one is 00635. So that's the line to watch for this to become bullish. If it doesn't cross there, it's likely not bullish. And then breaking the high at this region is going to be essentially bullish for this pattern. Now on Turbo, I'm going to go up to a 4-hour chart just to show you. This is quite an extended 4th wave correction. So this could be our A, this could be our C, B, and this could be our C. This being the next formation. If this continues down, it's going to turn into a WXY, which is an extended wave pattern. So watch that 635 on Turbo, because that's going to be quite bullish for this chart. Shiba Inu has come back down to the golden zone. Now the pivot on this one is sitting at 00001951. So not breaking that region, it's coming down lower. So 4-hour has been quite bullish since this region. So this is quite a bullish chart. So this could be complete. So yeah, watching that area is going to tell us whether it's bullish or bearish. Moo Dang. Now this has, obviously this went crazy. This was one of the X stories where somebody put in, a little bit of money and then ended up with a lot of money. And everyone was talking about it. So we're now in a correction. We had 5 waves in this pattern, and we're in a full correction, which we don't know where this is going to go because it's such a new coin. We need to get what we call the psychology behind that and the pattern memory. So pattern memory comes from the same people like to trade the same coins, and they'll go, okay, this pattern always goes to the 786. I'm going to wait to buy this until the 786. And so that's coming down. So the 786, where it potentially is going to get quite a good bounce, is at 87. So that's kind of the region you want to be watching for Moo Dang. Okay, Pepe has had a breakout. Now this could be potentially an ABC or an extended correction. So what this looks like is A, B, C. Now if this breaks out above kind of these regions, it's going to be exceptionally bullish. So our pivot, our next pivot, because we've just broken that one, on Pepe is 1396 with a lot of zeros in the front. So that's the region we want to be watching. And then obviously double top. So a B wave can go higher. It doesn't necessarily do that, but that's kind of what we're watching, one step at a time for this one. This falling wedge does look quite nice. So dog with a hat. it's moving lovely. Now I've got I've done the full breakdown of this one. So 5 waves, we've got a WXY extended correction for this one, and we're coming up hopefully for a wave 1. Doesn't look like that wave 1 is going to break out though. It could do, but it doesn't look like it will. Now, if we get a larger pullback and we pull back below again, that 1.04, that then puts it in a WXYZ pattern. And we know that on a pullback, but I do think we're heading up to about 2.97. We should then get a pullback from there. May not be that deep, may be quite shallow because we're going into quite a bullish period, I do think. And then we'll get that 5th wave up. So this is looking really good. Bonk. So this is one that's been around for quite some time. When it listed, everyone sold out because it went on to some major exchanges, and it has been going sideways for a bit, similar to what Bitcoin's been doing. Now we do look like we're coming to the end of some of these wave patterns. You can see that we've got a beautiful retest here so this is our resistance, and then we've got a breakout. Always look for strength and a retest at that region. So retest here, coming up, we've broken that bullish pivot there. So this does look bullish to me, and continuing up. So we've got a cross here on the 4 hour on the MAs 200 and 100. Okay. Brett, now this is like exceptionally new pattern. So this is a 4 hour, and you can see that same. So this has been a long-term resistance. It's had a breakout. It's come back down, retested this resistance. It's now fighting with the MAs, which are bullish on this 4 hour chart. So we look like we might get one more pullback. That's not sort of guaranteed because we have retested that as support. So looking really good. So this might be one to have a little bit of a gamble in. Again, stop losses, and stop losses. Baby Doge. So there's lots of baby coins. Everything that is made gets a baby of some type. Like there's a baby Moodang I saw today. So yeah, looks like, hit the 5th wave, coming back down. Once this has sorted itself out, then we'll get an idea. So this wave can come right back down low. So just be careful in this one at the moment. This is meme coin. And yeah, another one with a falling wedge. We can see we've got falling wedge. Now we've had a retest down at this level and we've held sideways. So if we get this point, we can see that we've got another support. So that's exciting. So this has come back down, retested. So we want to see this level hold and then some money flow come into that and continuation. But at the moment, that's not a bad pattern. That's quite a good pattern for one that should get some volume very soon. Kate coin. This is one that I love to hate. If this does absolutely take off, there's, what it says here, 1,200%. So let's go to a high time frame on this one. You can see that it's hit that resistance a couple of times. It has got alt curl, what I like to call alt curl. So that's potentially possible. Might take some time to get there, though. It has gone sideways for an incredibly long time. So Bone Book of Meme, and again, that's got a wedge happening. Now that's coming up, and it's going to likely hit sort of that resistance again. That's at about 84, pull back, and then hopefully break out this time. It has struggled on breaking out of that region. People, so a little bit choppy. It broke out of its triangle, came back right down and retested that as support. So it's now sitting on, this is the bullish pivot in this region. So we're just sort of touched above that. So potentially this is breaking out. It may have one more retest just down to that previous resistance as a support, and essentially wants to hold 0.63 and then should continue up. So the only thing to watch is the 2-hour MAs are crossing down. So that does mean potentially it has got to pull back on the way. So I'm just going to check a bit lower. So our 45 has crossed bullish, so that might save it. Doesn't mean that it won't pull back just to retest that region. So yeah, any of these, like DCAing into these, is a good thing, I think, because longer term we're looking good for a lot of these memes. Yeah, so I'm going to jump in and just show you kind of what we look at. If you're like trading them when they get onto, Jupiter, Bird's Eye, those sort of really early markets, you've got to watch out, obviously, for the whales when they're exiting. You do get like quite sort of heavy spikes on a lot of these. One that I like today, let me just find that, is Snoofy, which is the Reddit dog. So, and I'll get Josh to run through. You can see that we've got the liquidity exiting. So a lot of the early buyers, when you see on these charts, as long as it's coming back up, it's not staying there and then going deadlining, and that's not what you want to look at, because a lot of these memes when they're in these early stages will have those wicks. But if they just go flatline, then obviously you've lost some money. Don't put more than you're willing to lose in any of these coins, because if it's money that you've got set aside for your mortgage, for your car loan, for any of, you should not be trading with that money ever. That's like end of story, never ever. So trading money should always be disposable income, money that you don't need, that, if it goes to $1 million, you've got $1 million, but it's money that if something rugs, it does a Luna, it does whatever, FTX, it's like, okay, it might take 10 years for that money to come back, but it was money that I could afford to lose. So with that being said, don't sell your house and go and buy Snoofy. Don't recommend it. So if we go into the technicals, I'm going to get Josh to explain what he looks for and in these trades.
Okay, so it's Bird Eye is a great screener for finding gems, especially fresh ones on the market, and it's birdeye.so. Just before we go there, Lisa, if you scroll back up to the top, Bird Eye looks across many chains. In just below the logo there on the top left, Lisa, if you click on the Solana S, you can see that we can look across all different chains here. So at the moment, Solana is a brilliant chain, has a lot of on-chain activity, a lot of crypto flowing in and out. So we're sticking with them. But you might remember a few months ago, we had the big rage about base chain, and I was using Bird Eye when that was going on as well. So you can swap, look through different chains, and if you hover over in the menu to the right there, Lisa, on Explore, I think it is, if you just hover over the word Explore, top right, there we go. You can see from there that they've got some great filters under the Find Gems and the new listings area, which you can look for different cryptos via market cap, via how long they've been on the market. You can even look under the Find Trades area at where the whales are putting in money, taking out money. So it's just a fantastic platform. When you've found a a crypto that you like the look of, you'll find this page. We've got the Snoopy. One of the first things I do is look at the overview on the left hand side, and I just have a look at how many holders we've got. Snoopy's currently 7,700. That's a good amount of holder to start with. And we've also got the total supply. We've got the address there. Sometimes I like to copy and paste that address and just put it in X or somewhere, see how many people are trying to shill it. And another good little thing under the holders is their socials. Snoopy's not, obviously it's a Reddit coin, but normally you can see the X socials. Look to see that they've got socials and the community behind it. And then scrolling down, as Lisa said, technicals area, just quickly run through. You can see the volume coming in. You can see the volume and the trades coming in. If you look over those last two for Snoopy, you can see a huge amount of buy coming in. Again, all these stats you can delve right into. Super useful. And then scrolling back up to the chart there, Lise. If you click on recent trades area, we'll just cover that quickly as well. So scroll down so we can see you can see all of them coming in and out, where they're adding liquidity, where they're removing it. And generally you can see how much trading activity is going on. And then when you're ready, I use the right hand side to swap. So you connect your wallet. You don't have to do this, Lise, but you'll connect it. We use a Phantom wallet.
I think everyone knows how to connect a wallet. So
yeah. Phantom wallet, connect it in, and generally it's been okay. But of course, as Lisa said, with these screeners, just be very, very careful trading with them. They're very fresh coins. They're easy to run. Don't trade anything more than you can afford to lose. But yeah, it's a good little tool that we tend to use.
Okay, the other one, so my picks last week were Popcat and Giga. So on this, I like Snoopy and Fawog. So it's like frog, but with a W. As you see. Hang on, I'll just bring that chart up, see if it opens. There we go. It's had quite a nice movement. We've seen the whales have pulled their liquidity out, which is good because it's continued to move sideways above that region. And, you know, it's got quite good money sort of coming in and out. And, you know, holders, we've got 18,700. So it's a little bit more advanced than what Snoopy is. But again, they're my two picks that I think are going to do really well this week.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thanks everyone for joining. I think we will wrap it up there. 53 minutes. It's been a super long wrap up this week.
It has. There were so many meme coins. There's probably like a million I've missed. But yeah, running through those, and we kind of know where they're sitting.
Yeah. Anything else from you, Lise?
I think that's it. That's it. I'm going to go and get some dinner.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining again, and have a great week ahead.
Have a great week. And if before you go, if you want to check out my book, head to 1000tomillions.com and you can have a read through there. It's got a link to where you can buy the book and just how we do it, how it's all done. So yeah, 1000tomillions.com. And if you want to trade with us, getting started in crypto.com.
Okie dokie. Have a great week ahead. We'll see you soon.